heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. Yeah, 9/11, it's a heist, stole my heart, gave me life. No, I'm right, baby, I don't get my type wrong, yeah. She 11 with the lights on, yeah. I went meant just like a python. Breathe it right into my lungs. I took a hit, it's a crit, see my medicine. Before it's all said and done, 2 places for the necklace, gotta wipe you up. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. I'm not breaking cop lights, baby, I'm racing. Cause you're the only music I'm facing. You gon' leave my heart sedated, yeah. She just got it, but she wanted. Fell from heaven, she a weapon when she comes to me. I find it comforting. Though I'm blowing, she got me restrained, buffering, yeah. I sold the plans for your demands. I need the spare cash to pay my rent. I'm suffering, still covered in break me loose. Stay good news, baby. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. I'm not breaking cop lights, baby, I'm racing. Cause you're the only
And we're live. Hi, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of the All Elite Ensemble review. Your AEW review show here on the BC WrestlePod conglomeration networking syndicate, YouTube, Twitch, thingamabob we got going on here. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joining me this week is, of course, Team Adolfo and Just Alice, Team A&A for short. Happy to have you both here. The trio is back in full effect. Hopefully, we'll have 4 or 5 people as the next couple of weeks go on, but we'll see what happens. I'm just kidding. Love you, Professor and JBL. But we are here to recap a pretty Continental Classic heavy week.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
So whereas last week I was like, okay, we sprinkled a couple matches. Nah, pretty much. If I'm misremembering, I feel a majority of Rampage this week too is Continental Classic matches, which is crazy. And then Dynamite had some, Collision had. It's been a wild week. Also, AEW has had a lot of news happening this week too that we can discuss as the show goes on. And I think my Puerto Rican Santa Claus over there, I also think we have a giveaway of some sorts this evening as well.
Oh, we do. We do. But that'll come.
There is a lot. There is a lot happening. We have barely started, and already we have, of course, our lovely Will in the chat. Hi, Will.
Hey, hi, Will.
Oh man, Will, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow. But anyways, so we are here tonight to review AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, all on their own separate days again. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Last week was nuts. I was like, there's too much wrestling happening on one Saturday. You guys, give me a break.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, really quickly, this is a quick message that if you would like to follow our shenanigans on the internet, if you like what you see here and want to follow the shenanigans, follow us on the social medias. We have a face at BC WrestlePod. We have a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram. We're looking at Blue Sky. We have a TikTok for right now. Anywho, we also have YouTube. We have Twitch. There is merchandise to be bought in the link in the description below. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. I have a lot of stuff planned for 2025. And just as a spoiler alert, expect things to look a lot different come 2025. Not in terms of people. Nobody's leaving, so I want to put that out there. But in terms of aesthetics, I've been working really hard to do some really cool stuff, and I can't wait to hopefully pull those out in 2025. No! You are not allowed to leave. I'm just kidding. Just give me 2 weeks notice and y'all are good and you get your Oh my goodness. Well, with that out of the way, let's just jump straight into it. So, as we normally do here at All Elite Ensemble, we are going to go in order of the week. So we are going to kick things off with AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday. Just to kind of let the audience know ahead of time, since this is Continental Classic Heavy Week, we are going to briefly touch upon winners, and then we're going to save our full discussion of the week and the tournament so far at the very end, once we get through Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, AEW Dynamite on December 4, 2024, took place from Fishers, Indiana, at the Fishers Event Center. It is Wednesday, my dudes and dudettes and non-binary folks of the internet, so you know what that means. It's time for me to quickly wrap up this AEW Dynamite in 30 minutes or less. And I feel like I'm going to be able to do that because
I believe in you, Mikey.
I appreciate it. I'm going to be honest, like, this was the sound of the fury that signifies nothing. We had our Continental Classics, and we moved the needle on some things, but it felt very... There was just some extra pizzazz for me personally missing this week on Dynamite. So, which is tough. I'm like, y'all have a pay-per-view like in 2.5 weeks. We need to get on these things right now. But anyways, so AEW Dynamite this week kicks off with our first match of the evening, which is a Blue League match for the Continental Classic, in which we see Shelton Benjamin take on Kyle Fletcher at this point in the week. Both of them have 3 points on the board. And by the end of this match, Kyle Fletcher walks out of this match with 6 points, Shelton Benjamin with 3, as Kyle Fletcher defeats Shelton Benjamin. More about the match when we get to the end.
Yes.
So, that was easy. Anyways, so after this match, you know, we have Kyle Fletcher running out of the ring to celebrate with Don Callis. And then they decide to do this after the match instead of before the match, where we literally get a recap of the first week of Continental Classic. I'm just like,
that's a choice.
That was a choice. I feel like you could have just opened AEW Dynamite with this and then get into the match. But, you know, I am not a person that works behind the scenes there. And during this recap package, they also make note that Juice Robinson, the Juice is Loose Robinson, got removed from the tournament after being injured on Collision.
He broke his leg.
He broke
Get
his
better,
leg.
Juice.
Yep.
Miss you.
Like, damn, we just got you back, Juice.
Wait a minute. If Juice broke his leg, maybe that's why Tony Storm was chopping wood in flip-flops.
Oh my gosh. I really hope Tony's not actually injured like the reports are indicating, because I would be very upset.
Right. Well, I mean, you never know.
She better not be. I'm gonna be so mad.
She was chopping wood to
make him a new leg.
No, so like for warmth and stuff like that, because you know they live in Florida. It gets cold down there. Okay, moving on.
The dog is cute, by the way. Anyways, their dog is cute. Anyways, All right. So I'm going to be completely honest with this next segment. I have not thoroughly enjoyed the start and stop to this. And I feel like we go too many weeks to develop anything. But look at the sky. It's the Hook signal because Hook comes out to address the patriarchy. I'm like, sir, we are like 3.5 weeks too late for this point of the story. Like, why have we waited so long for this? But anyways, Hook calls out Christian Cage for a fight at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I'm like, sir, that is in 2 weeks. Like, relax. But he's willing to fight Nick Wayne right here and now. And my stupid little heart thought, okay, we might get this match. This is going to be cool. I should have known better. Because then Christian Cage comes out, but only for Hook to be blindsided by Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. Christian enters the ring to join the beatdown. The patriarchy grab a pair of steel chairs, setting Hook up for a concerto that targets the left hand. The patriarchy stands over Hook, with Christian running him down verbally as we cut away from this segment. I don't care, you guys. I really don't. They take way too long to develop the next parts of the story. I'm going to be honest. I completely forgot this was a feud. I forgot this was a feud that was happening.
Yep. Really quick shout out. Lafayette, Indiana. What's good, Robert?
Robert is like our number one supporter at this point, popping in every chance he gets or they get, I'm not assuming here. Right. For all of our shows. So we appreciate you, Robert. Thank you so much. Always holding down.
But yeah, I totally agree with you, Mikey. And this is actually a storyline I would be interested in seeing, because of Christian Cage.
Fair.
Right. And I feel in this type of storyline, it would help Hook to get a little better on the mic and whatnot. If it were consistent. Exactly. But like you said, because there's so much distance between each segment and the story threads, now we have the whole Jon Moxley thing, piled on top of it. We have the whole Mercedes Moné, and then it's like when they get back to it, it's like, oh yeah, this is a thing. You're muted, buddy.
Oh,
there you go. Wait. Oh, nope. You're back. You're back.
My microphone's been on this entire time, but I stand by what I said. I do not care about this anymore.
Yeah.
Mid don't care anymore. Anyways, so we're going to move on because after this, we go backstage. Renee is talking to Mercedes Moné about what happened, because Camille got attacked last week. Our double champ says that Camille quit. So whatever happens to her is none of her concern anymore. I was like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But then Mercedes is still upset because Anna Jay is sticking her nose in the CEO's business. So Anna Jay is facing Penelope Ford tonight. Spoiler alert, is the only women's match we have this week on Dynamite.
Oh my God, do better. Do better, AEW.
So Anna Jay is facing Penelope Ford later tonight, and Mercedes is going to keep an eye out before reminding all the ladies in the AEW women's locker room that there is a price to pay when you mess with Moné. At least this is getting some development. Camille got attacked last week. We don't know what's going down.
Yep.
Camille's going to be off television for a little bit. Hopefully this is storyline and she's not actually hurt, because I will be very upset. Anyways. So we're going to see and talk about Mercedes later in the evening. Back when we go to commercial break, we come back. MVP is now backstage with Shelton Benjamin to talk about his performance tonight in the match and remind him that they are the Hurt Syndicate, and what do they do best? They hurt people. Poor stagehand didn't know what was coming, because as he was
the poor stagehand, those poor cameramen.
The poor stagehand walks by because the target of the Hurt Syndicate, as they continue, like I said, to establish what they do, in fact, hurt people. Man, the stage hands within the last couple of days of AEW ROH programming have not got a break. This one got beat down. The
last couple of months.
I know.
Talking about Lance Archer was running around throwing.
That's true. You want everybody to die. Doing that.
I know. It was
Death
crazy.
Riders had to come in and start throwing people around, like, you know.
It was wild.
They've been busy.
But, you know, after this backstage segment, we cut to the ringside, and the field is already set with Adam Cole making his way out. And we get into our second match of the evening, which is the Dynamite Diamond Dozen Battle Royale. This screams, we don't have a lot planned, so let's do this here. I'm like, I forget that we have like 2 weeks dedicated to the stupid diamond ring. Like, oh, I hate it so much. But anyways, so I'm just gonna talk about the parts that matter to me, like Top Flight being eliminated by Action Andretti and Leo Rush, which we'll talk about.
More on that later. More on that later.
Stay tuned for more at 10, because that was kind of juicy on Collision, not gonna lie. But that was the best part. Brian Cage and Lance Archer are running down the field while this is all going down. Yeah, Top Flight gets eliminated by Action and Journey Leo Rush, but our good old boy Mark Davis gets ahead of the steam by sending both them and the Butcher out. You know, Brian Cage and him fight. Archer joins the fray. Davis unfortunately gets eliminated by Brian Cage and Lance Archer. Let's just run all the way down here. We get the final four in this ring, which is Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Brian Cage, Lance Archer. Everybody, we get the little back and forth for a little bit. Kyle O'Reilly manages to eliminate Brian Cage and Archer. And now we have our final two. The winners of this match is Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So tomorrow night, I almost said next week, tomorrow night at Winter is Coming for Dynamite, they will be facing each other. Winner goes on to face MJF for the Diamond Ring. Moving on. I'm going to be all the way 100. We knew what this result was going to be. Did I have a great time with certain folks? Yeah, absolutely. I feel so bad. I'm going to be real with you. At least we got some development with Top Flight versus Leo and Action. Which plays a little bit later in the week on Collision. Who I really feel bad for here is Rocky Romero and Mark Davis. We are just here to have them in this match. I'm like, Mark Davis, what has happened? Like, what is going down? Like, poor man. Oh, it's so frustrating because I'm like, we're keeping him away from Kyle, and Will's busy in the classic, so we're gonna wait to revisit that. Hopefully, well, who knows? Again, I did not care about this match. I knew what was gonna happen. We're getting Kyle and Adam next week. Moving on. We get a video package. Julia Hart has her sets on Jamie Hayter. I'm so ready for Julia Hart's return. It's about to be epic. Yeah. Love it. Backstage. Ooh, this is the juicy part too. Backstage, the Acclaimed and daddy ass himself are chastising Max Caster and has some harsh words for him. Specifically, Anthony Bowens. Anthony giving him the third degree verbally was amazing. Tells him that if he's the best wrestler, telling Max if he's the best wrestler alive, to go prove it tonight at Swerve Strickland. Instead of talking him out of this match, I love that Anthony Bowens is like, you made this bed, you gonna lie at it. You about to get this ass whooped by Swerve Strickland. So you talk of this big game, you about to find out, so how wrong you really were. So we go back to ringside. Swerve went on drive, makes his entrance down the way. Love it. Max Caster comes out, who gives a rap for Swerve. And he doesn't even get to finish it because Swerve then just throws to the floor and starts whooping it. I'm like, look at this picture. Max did not stand a chance in this promo shot.
Nope.
I will say, this is probably my favorite match, not in-ring wise, but for the sheer entertainment fact of Swerve Strickland just whooping somebody's ass for like less than 10 minutes. This was stupid. I love this match so freaking much.
Yeah, but you know, we touched on this last week, how with the way that Max Caster's character is going right now, it's yes, we want to see his ass get whooped. You know what I mean? So
the best part to me is that Swerve picks up the victory with the house call, not once, not twice, but 3 times over. And then he sets him up afterwards with the Swerve stop too. I'm just like, oh, Swerve Strickland, never change. We love it. He runs down Bobby Lashley, which lets us know that he is not finished with the Hurt Syndicate, which we kind of figure he wasn't already. Right. But that was entertaining for the 1 week build that we got. Oh, man. Max, you kind of deserved it. Love you. So we cut to commercial at this point for Dynamite. And then when we come back, they recap about Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly's thing. I'm like, again, why did we place this after the matches happened? You could have put it before. Anyways, again, I'm not the person. But then it cuts down to MJF responding to what went down. He talks about the Better Than You, baby, how popular it was, before addressing Adam Cole's mission of revenge, leading to what has happened with the likes of Mox winning the AEW World Title. MJF says Cole thinks he's the hero, but insists MJF is the villain. And at World's End, what happens is something Cole can thank MJF later for. And I'm like, way to go, Max. I'm just saying, you're setting up Adam Cole to win next week, which is cool and everything, but don't have MJF cut this promo of Kyle ends up winning next week. Like, again, maybe, I'm just saying, MJF is completely ignoring Kyle O'Reilly at this point in this promo. And basically, MJF is literally telegraphing to us that probably Adam Cole's winning next week.
Yeah, but
but even if he doesn't win, poor Kyle gets nothing in this promo.
See, like me personally, at the same time, with the way that he's forgetting about Kyle O'Reilly, I feel like Kyle O'Reilly will win next week, and making Adam Cole yet again that short from obtaining his match with MJF.
I would like that. I would want that
to
happen.
Right.
I 100% agree with you. I just lazy build is not what I'm thinking here. I definitely agree. I feel like we prolong MJF and Adam Cole a little bit longer, but who knows? Because Tony Khan doesn't believe in long-term feuds, apparently. So that is his words, not mine. So the internet needs to relax on that one. I did not say those words. That has come out of the man's mouth before. So it is not me. So everyone needs to chill, bro. So afterwards, we go back to ringside. Jay White makes his way down to the ring. All the Bang Bang Gang is not due to injury, apparently. So it's just Jay White. And Pac comes out. And then we get into my personal and my actual match of the night, Pac versus Jay White. This was amazing. And then I sat and thought to myself, why was this not the main event? It's fine. Like, this was my match of Dynamite this week. Pac versus Jay White. These two tore the roof down. This was such a good match. And I was like, this is a pay-per-view quality match on television.
Right.
Which is a testament to how great Jay and Pac are as individual wrestlers and the magic that they create when they get into the ring together.
Yep.
Oh, it was so good. And to my surprise, Blade Runner for the win. Jay White beats 1/3 of our AEW's World's Trios champion, which is great because we're building up Jay to be in the potential for this #1 contendership for Mox's title. Still don't want it to be a fatal 4-way like the reports are suggesting, but you know what? We'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Jay White picks up the victory. Wheeler tries to go after Jay after the match, but again, Blade Runner for his troubles, which was amazing to watch. Marina Shafir enters the ring. I'm mad that they only let her stare her down at this point. I was like, put him in the submission hold, Marina. Put him in the submission hold.
Right?
What are we doing?
We've done it already. Come on.
But Jay White and Marina Shafir have a staring contest until Mr. Switchblade over here is blindsided by Mox. Mox beats down on Jay, with culminating in a Death Rider, sending him to the mat. He checks on the crew as he leaves the ring, and out comes Hangman Aggro Page,
Yes.
which we love. So Page and Mox stare each other down as the cameraman tries to stop a random person from behind Mox, which was funny as to watch. AEW crowds, y'all are wild. But it turns out that this random person is Orange Cassidy. I was like, damn. Well, we'll talk about that in my feelings of that. Happy to see Orange. Feel like it was way too soon to bring him back, but it is what it is. So it's Orange Cassidy. He chokes out Mox with the camera cable, which is kind of crazy to watch Orange Cassidy do that of all people. He took a page out of Rush's playbook. Marina tries to intervene, but it's fended off by Orange, Hangman, and Jay White. As all three of these men turn their attention to Mox. Orange takes Mox down first, followed by Jay, and Hangman brings things up to a head with a buckshot lariat, forcing Moxley out of the ring to regroup with the Death Riders on the ramp. Christian Cage is on the stage with his title shot contract in hand, only for a moment as we look back of Orange, Jay, and Hangman in the ring. So I literally think they just set up our match for that title at World's End, and I still don't like it. I think they're going to put Mox, Orange, Hangman, and Jay in this match. And if that is the case, I think Orange is getting pinned here.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Love the match. The afterwards segments, I actually really enjoyed. Hey, I'm a little confused as to which direction we're going with Hangman because he's not here for everybody, but he's in the title contention picture. So he doesn't care, and I'm fine with that. My only critique, and I feel like this is just me, my only critique is I feel that it was too soon to bring Orange back into the fold of this story because we're only not even 2 weeks out from Full Gear. Shoot, not even 2 weeks. It's been a week, maybe a week and a half at best. And Orange is already back into this match and the storyline. I'm like, I wasn't expecting him to be out for months, but I was expecting him maybe like right before World's End to pop up again. But we didn't get he's came back in like 2 weeks. And for me personally, I feel like it was a little too soon for Orange to come back to all of this.
And also the other thing to that is I feel like on the other shows, they have been pushing Darby as the leader of the AEW locker room. So to bring Orange Cassidy back so early, I feel like kind of confuses that whole thing and adds an unnecessary layer to it. Because you already have right now with Hangers and Switchblade and Christian Cage, like you already have this whole thing going on, to throw Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin in on it. Just, I feel starting to become a little bit of a convoluted mess, but that's just me.
I think this is, and again, I am not a theater person. This is only what I see. I feel that this story, as much as I'm enjoying it now that we picked it up at Full Gear, right now, I feel there are too many players in this story right now.
Yes.
Like, we can still... we still have
That's why I'm disengaged. Like, I am disengaged from this story. I don't care. There's too much going on.
There's too many people going after Moxley's world title. So I was fine with it just being Orange leading into Full Gear, and then everything at Full Gear happened. And so I'm like, okay, Orange is out. Who's going to be the next one? Now we have Jay White, Hangman Page, and now Orange Cassidy being in contention to face Moxley for that title. I do not want it to happen, but knowing AEW's booking over the last year or so, I would not be surprised if Tony Khan makes this a fatal four-way for this title, which to me, I don't like the idea, because to me, for this story to continue for a little bit longer until you get Darby into this to take the title from Mox at wherever it's going to happen, I hate the fact that we have to use Orange Cassidy to get pinned, because if Hangman or Jay White gets pinned, if this is a fatal 4-way at World's End, I'm not going to be happy about it, because why build Jay and Hangman for them to be the one to get pinned in at World's End? It makes no sense.
I was going to bring this up in, I believe it was the Collision review, because they did do a recap segment in Collision, but I'm going to bring this up now. Alice, kind of, I do want to retouch that, but you've already made your feelings clear on this. Unlike other AEW champions who have been like calling out one person and then another person, Mox has been like calling out the entire locker room, and that kind of seems like where we're at right now. For the overall story, Mikey, do you think it's successful to go this route with Mox and the championship, to call everyone out and everyone just, literally we have a steamroll of people coming after him?
So, okay, it has been a very long time since we've had this segment, but all right, let's bring out the director's hat. Okay, right, so again, this is my own personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with this. This is how I would direct/book this story. So the aspect of the story that I am okay with is Moxley calling out to this locker room and saying that, since the Elite took over, it has become this desolate wasteland, if you will. So Mox and the Death Riders are going to become this necessary evil in order to show the locker room that they need to make a change by taking out the people that Mox and the Death Riders deem as like the weeds, if you will, in this. So Orange Cassidy, Mox's, how I would have done this is do the way that we've done it so far. Orange Cassidy is target number 1. Orange is like the big baby face for AEW right now. And Mox doesn't like that, in the sense that because Orange Cassidy doesn't have the drive and he's just goofy wrestling for goofy wrestling, doesn't take it seriously, yada, yada, yada. He gets taken out of full gear. Cool. Then I would have him go after Hangman next, with Hangman also being a pillar of AEW if you want, and then have him beat Hangman at World's End. Then you have, well, in this case, there will be some other folks, but because injuries and things like that, Jay White is next, because now Jay has inserted himself over the last couple of months into the business of the Death Rider, so now they got to take out the threat. And of course, Jay White being the charismatic leaders of the Bang Bang Gang, and the crowd loves him too. You can mark up that Jay White came over from New Japan to take over AEW, and he wasn't here since the beginning. Cool. Jay White loses at Grand Slam Australia. Then, throughout this whole entire thing, Darby finds a way to continue to stick his nose in this business. Mox tries to take out Darby. Doesn't work. Darby gets through the rest of the Death Riders, beating them one-on-one. Mox has to get his hands dirty himself and take care of Darby. Darby ultimately overthrows Jon Moxley at Revolution to claim the championship, and then Christian could be a complete douche and ruin the moment by cashing in his contract. Right. I'm okay with that. The problem is that notice how the road for Jon Moxley's title reign is singles match, singles match, singles match, singles match. We are getting singles match, fatal 4-way probably, and then whatever comes after that. And we are condensing like 2 months of build into 4 weeks. So I know Tony Khan has said that the AEW doesn't need long-term stories. I have to disagree with Mr. Khan. For me personally, there is a lot of good wrestling, but it is the stories and the feuds that give substance to the flash in the pan athleticism of wrestling. And athleticism, as I have said multiple times on various reviews, athleticism and in-ring work can only carry a show so far. You got to have interesting characters, and you're going to have interesting storylines. The talent is there. I love this roster with all my heart, and we have some fun characters too. But let's give them substantial feuds. And even if you don't want to do like 5 years of a long-term story, Don't just do 3 weeks then to the pay-per-view and then we don't revisit the feud afterwards ever again. I'm done with these one and done feuds. But that has been the Turner Classic-esque, if you will, corner of how I would direct this feud. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Now, Alice, you said you're disengaged.
Yes.
As a casual watcher, filthy casual, was there a time that you were actually engaged with this storyline? No. Was it too much for you?
No, I have not liked this storyline from the beginning.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Trying too hard. I don't think John Mox is in it. Like, I don't think his heart is in it.
Okay.
Like, I feel like a shell of John Moxley is leading this story.
Okay.
And so because I feel like he doesn't care and his heart's not in it, I don't care.
Okay.
I feel like they're trying to go gritty, edgy, and whatever. And I'm like, it's just not working for me. It's like a similar problem I had with Jack Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Dark energy. I'm like, okay. Then stop smiling because I see Jungle Boy every time you smile. Like, you know? But yeah, I don't feel like John Moxley is in this. And because he's not, I'm not.
Okay.
Like, I think the arc we got for Wheeler Yuta, I was invested in that. But that was a smaller part of the larger story. And that's over now.
Yep. Okay. We can move on. Mikey, your mic is not doing a thing. There we go.
John, the Death Riders heard I was talking crap, so they cut my mic. Tony Khan didn't like what I had to say, so he cut my microphone. Anyways, so after this whole entire match and the segment, we get to a video package that hypes up World's End, and then we cut backstage. We hear from Jamie Hayter. She addresses Julia's message, calling her out, insisting that, she come back to settle score, that Jamie came back to settle scores, and that has nothing to do with Julia. She also addresses the International Women's Cup and what she wants to do with that before calling out Julia again in the same breath for a match, saying on her comeback, she'll be laid out in the middle of the ring, and the last thing she'll see is Jamie. So this pretty much all but confirms we are probably getting Julia's first feud with Jamie Hayter upon her return, which makes me super excited, which also unfortunately forecasts that she's probably not going to win this cup, which to represent AEW at Wrestle Dynasty. Talk more about it than Collision. I love Willow Nightingale, but I'm like, girl, I love you, Willow, but we'll talk about it, which hurts because it's not Willow's fault. So we go to commercial break. We come backstage. Hi, guys. Chris Jericho is here. And he gives us a New York minute to hype up the upcoming shows in New York City by purposely constantly mixing up nicknames like Beantown and Sin City in the process, before revealing that he will be on ROH the following day on Honor Club tomorrow night to address who faces the Nueve at Final Battle. Spoiler alert, it will be Chris Jericho versus the deathmatch king of professional wrestling himself. Always ready, Matt Cardona. God, I want Matt to win so bad, but it's not going to happen. So, spoiler alert, that has been your ROH minute for the week. After this, we cut to I will say, I love cheesiness. We get a cheesy vignette, but it's hyping up the return of Bandito, which makes me super excited. Yeah. Is he going to get pushed? No, but that is okay. I am just happy that Bandito is back because I've missed it on my television screen. And had he not been hurt, I think Bandito would have been really great in this Continental Classic. But anyways, back at ringside, Anna Jay makes her way down the ramp. Video package highlights the history between Anna Jay and Penelope Ford, which I actually appreciated because it's been a while since Penelope Ford has been on television. I mean, she's been there for a couple of matches since her return, always on the losing end, but, we'll talk about that later. And then, Penelope comes out, which then kickstarts our next match of the evening and our only women's match of Dynamite. How dare you, AEW? We get Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. I need to start a counter for every time I repeat this phrase. The in-ring was spectacular. Why was it only 8 minutes? God, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, oh my goodness, how hard is it to let the women wrestle more in the double digits? It's not that hard. Anna Jay has improved and gotten more in her bag of tricks, so you will, since going to Japan and picking up stuff from that tournament at Stardom she competed in. Penelope Ford is flipping amazing. Why do you only give us 8 minutes of women's wrestling? Why? I know that the regular AEW fan, excluding Alice because she's an alt class of her own, we love women wrestling. It is probably the better of the two between men and women's all the time. The women have shown they could carry this show from week to week, but you only give us one women's match a week, and it's never more than 10 minutes. Even Mariah May gets shafted when her title defense is now, and it's starting to irritate me. Yep. Why, Tony Khan? Why? Spoiler alert, Anna Jay does pick up the victory here, so no surprise there. I'm mad that Penelope Ford has been getting jobbed out since her return.
Yeah, I'm mad about that too.
I'm also mad that like 40% of this match was in picture too. Oh gosh, that frustrated me so much. So after this, Anna gets on the mic. She calls out Mercedes to come out. Since she knows that the champ was watching, Mercedes comes out saying if Chris Statlander couldn't beat her for the TBS championship, who's to say that Anna can? That said, she likes the courage, so if Anna wants a challenge for the title, she can come back in 10 years when she's done something to earn the shot. And I'm just like, Mercedes, I don't want to be the one to tell you this. Come here, baby girl. Get close to the camera real quick. Anna Jay has done more than you have since arriving in this company. You are one to talk, missy.
Yep.
So, Anna asks if, this helps. She slaps Mercedes across the face and then leads to a brief brawl between Monet and Anna Jay. And so Mercedes realizes she has other things to do. And then we get the graphic that it's going to be Anna Jay versus Mercedes Moné at Holiday Bash in 2 weeks. So the special AEW show happening right around the Christmas time. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, so if you're not building this match to World's End, who is going to face Mercedes for this title? I hope it's Camille. It better be Camille if you're not going to have Anna Jay fight for this title at a pay-per-view. Frustrate me, AEW. What is happening? Anyways, that was this match. This is a segment. I'm royally PO'd and sad and heartbroken for these women. 18%. That is the total runtime, if you mathematically calculated that the women were on the screen this week for both the segments and the matches.
It's embarrassing.
It is. How is it that NXT, which is considered the developmental brand, according to professional wrestling fans, every single week, they have over 50% of the show as women's wrestling. And their pay-per-view had 40% of the show be women's wrestling too. It frustrates me.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Oh, don't worry, Collision, because I'm about to get up in yo ass when we talk about you later too. And Rampage, I'm upset with you too.
Embarrassing.
AEW embarrassed me this week for women's wrestling. How dare they? So speaking of women, we go to commercial, come back. Mariah May is being This was hilarious, by the way. I love this segment so freaking much. So Mariah, starts running down Renee before addressing to give her, giving her friend Mina a world title shot. She promises Mina that after the match, they'll sip all the champagne in the world. As this is one of my favorite tropes when you do promos is she's standing behind me, isn't she? While Mariah is talking crap about Mina the entire time. And I love that Mina is in the background as this happens. She approaches Mariah with a bottle of champagne, telling her to do what she did at Full Gear to her face. Mariah backs away, stating that winter is coming. Make me walk, as Mariah stares at Mina. I'm not gonna lie, of everything that we're looking at for Winter is Coming outside some of the Continental Classic, Tony Khan won't do this. I want this match to be our main event of Dynamite tomorrow.
I mean, it
deserved it. It is my most anticipated match between these.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. So back at ringside, Brody King makes his entrance. Brody King, call me. Anyways, it's my baby daddy, you guys. Anyways, so we get into, surprisingly, our main event of Dynamite this week. So this is a Continental Classic Gold League match in which we have Brody King taking on Claudio Castagnoli. More details at the very end of the show, but Claudio picks up the victory, and so now he sits in the Gold League with 6 points on the board, and Brody King still only having his 3 after beating Darby Allin last week. And again, I thought the match was fun. More discussion about it when we get to the end of the show, but that is going to be my AEW Dynamite review. Overall, a lot of things really irritated my soul this week, so I can't give it more than maybe a C. That is just me. But anyways, let us move on, shall we? So I'm just gonna, just do the thing here.
Go ahead.
Touch the tip.
Right.
And I am going to pass it on over to Rampage, which was very solid this week, in my opinion.
Yep. Give us one minute, all right? Hold on 1 second. Okay, so here we are.
Was it really that difficult?
Yes, it was.
All right. So it's Friday night, and you know what that means.
It's
Rampage! All right, we are, as you say, slowly crawling to our final Rampage ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. All right, so we open with a Continental Classic Blue League match. As we discussed, we're going to talk about the matches later. And Okada comes away with the win here for our opening match.
Yep.
Another Continental Classic match. What is this? What are you doing? Why are you like this?
This.
Well, then why do you have a Continental Classic thing here? I will read the notes. So Chris Jericho shows up. He calls out Matt Cardona for the RH Championship match at Final Battle.
Yep.
And he actually shows up. We get a little bit of a rough and tumble between Brian Keith and Jericho and Cardona.
Did you say rough and tumble?
I did say rough and tumble.
That's the rough and tumble.
I did say rough and tumble. Okay. So
bless his heart. He tried.
That was fine. It's just hard to hear Chris Jericho speak ever.
It's funny though, because again, Jericho at the beginning of the show was on commentary, and commentary Jericho was actually all right to listen to.
I like commentary Jericho, but then he steps into the ring and he's on the mic. I'm like, who are you? Stop talking. Take that hat off.
In the words of Brandy Rose, who told you it was open mic night, bitch?
Right, exactly.
I did love that Matt Cardona took off that stinking hat, though. Very good.
Yep.
It was not a good hat.
Nope. So next.
Now I can talk about this image here. We got another Continental Classic match between Daniel Garcia and the Beast Mortos. With Daniel Garcia getting the win.
Yep.
Then we got a spot talking about the Continental Classic.
Who knew that was a thing that was happening?
Right.
Wow.
Sidebar: AEW needs to stop overdoing it because they're making me not like it now.
Yeah, like this spot again. weird. It's weird that they put it where it was.
Yeah, it should have been at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's here, but okay.
But here we are.
Next. Oh, the Vendetta. I love them. This very cool. I love the aesthetic. Very fun. I wish I took
put
them
them in an actual
seriously,
feud,
but put them in some feuds. Give them TV time. Not this. What was it? A squash match? I'm like, oh no, right?
Thunder and Harley are right there.
Like right there. They're right. Yeah. Anyway.
I will say though that power bomb that Deonna Purrazzo hit was ridiculously good.
Yeah,
it was ridiculously good, and I really enjoyed seeing her use that armbar for the submission.
Yeah.
I do want to toss this out with what happened at Full Gear with Anna Jay beating Deonna Purrazzo, and then the Vendetta comes back in this squash match. Mikey, do we take the Vendetta seriously?
So I'm going to take my personal feelings out of this because I unapologetically love Taya and Deonna as the Vendetta. Now, when I put it in the perspective of has AEW gotten the Vendetta and makes them being taken seriously? The answer is no, because you've had them not have anything but squash matches, whether it's singles or tag teams. And again, I'm just going to put this out there. Thunder and Harley are right there. Like, even if you just want to make this a month's feud, like, you have Thunder has history with Deonna because they feuded when Deonna came in. You have Taya feuding with Thunder previously too. Harley is this weird, like, annoying little sister that somehow I want Thunder to come to begrudgingly love by the end of the feud. Why are you putting these two on television if you're not going to do anything with them? It's the same issue that I run into, and this is not ROH, but this is related in the same vein. This is such a cool idea. They have done amazing with their promos and getting themselves over in the way that they are trying to get their message as a group across. But you need to now, again, put some substance into them. Give them some time. Like, give them an actual feud. Stop treating them like a circus act where it's like, oh, these two are badasses. Then let me see how badass they are by going up against some actual women on the roster. And no shade to the local girls, because I love the local girls and the local talent when they get on AEW television. But I need Taya and Deonna to have some credibility now. They've already established themselves of who their characters are, what this faction is about. Now let them start taking out people left and right. They are called the Vendetta for the reason. It's not that hard, Tony. Come on.
What say you, Alice?
No, I agree. I'm angry that Deonna lost at Full Gear. They've been putting in the work. They've been putting in the promo. Like, the shtick is shticking, right? Like, it's working. So now we need to take this to the next level, whatever. You have to put some wins behind them. You have to make them scary. I don't believe it right now, and I'm mad about it because I want it to be so good. It has the potential to be amazing, and we have the women's roster to support it. So do it.
All right, there we go. Ready?
Yeah.
We're still seething with anger right now.
So moving on.
This brings us to our main event. This unfortunately was the best match of Rampage. I say unfortunately because if the Vendetta had actually been given an actual match, it probably would have been my favorite of the night. But I digress. Ricochet and Commander are always fun to watch. This was no exception. Ricochet does come away with the win. And Commander actually, he gave a really touching social media exclusive promo.
Yeah.
After this.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that later, I think. That's Rampage.
Yeah. That's Rampage.
This was not a good Rampage, you guys. This was a tough week. This is a tough week to get through. All right.
Okay. Boop. So now we move on to, oh, wait. That's right. We have the Lucha Brothers Tag Team 2-pack giveaway. Okay. So as per our rules, we had people DM us and we got the names in the hat. So, oh, there we go. So we are.
Aren't you gonna fish around?
Oh, okay.
You can't look. You gotta look away.
I'm looking away. We're gonna
make sure it's just one.
Okay, I got one. And again, this is for the Lucha Brothers. Come on. The Lucha Brothers limited edition 2-pack. We can call it super limited edition with the news that came out with the Lucha Brothers today or this week. So, but anyway, so our winner for the Lucha Bros Tag Team 2-pack is Will Walker, Halfling Wizard. So Will Walker, Halfling Wizard, if you're still watching, please DM us your information so that we can get this out to you. And congratulations on the win! Yay!
We love to see it.
All right,
that was great.
Thank you. And as always, you can find us. You can find the Biconics on the interwebs, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitch. We have merch over at bcwrestlepod.creatorspring.com and Patreon. So, Collision.
It's Saturday night. You know what that means.
It's Collision. So we actually start with a Continental Classic spot.
No, we don't.
Recap.
That's crazy.
Did they figure it out? It took them 3 tries
to
be like, oh, we open with the spot.
Yep, they figured it out. Which brings us to our first match of the night, which is a Gold League match, Darby Allin versus Commander. Again, at the end, we're going to go over it. Darby Allin does end up with the win in this.
This is
give Commander a win. What did I say? Who said that?
That's crazy. This is the closest to me so far. This has been the closest match this whole tournament so far, if I'm being honest, outside of Okada and Garcia. And I'm gonna be honest, this is probably my favorite match of the Collision. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. So then after this, we do have a backstage spot with Renee. Is with Don Callis and Takeshita, and who shows up but one Powerhouse Hobbs. And he wants his receipts. He wants the belt that Takeshita has, and Don Callis ducks some, like straight up. He's just like, "Oh yeah, we'll talk about it later. Bye." You know. So
he knows.
Now that we have Powerhouse Hobbs kind of sort of in the picture for Takeshita's belt, what do you think the over-under is that Powerhouse Hobbs actually has a chance at winning Takeshita's belt?
Fat chance.
Yeah. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Here's the thing, though. So if I might interject a little bit.
Sure.
So it depends on a whole lot of things. It depends if this match is happening relatively soon before the end of the year or a little bit after that. Because, and I'm going to tell you why Powerhouse Hobbs is not going to win. One, because outside of Swerve, for some reason, we don't have any other, at least in the men's division. I love that Swerve was our first African-American champion, but why has no other wrestlers of color won any of these big titles? That's just me. But the reason that Powerhouse is not going to win this is because New Japan is heavily promoting this match between, Shingo Takagi and Takeshita. So Takeshita is fighting Shingo for the Neverweight Open Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. And should Takeshita win that match, then the match against Tomohiro Ishii becomes a double title match. So Powerhouse is not winning this because Takeshita is holding that thing to go to Japan.
That's a shame.
It is.
I hope that they stretch this out until 2025, and I hope that Powerhouse is the one that dethrones Takeshita. I think that would be just desserts and a good story. But moving on, this brings us to our International Women's Cup qualifier semifinal for Wrestle Dynasty, where we have Serena Deeb, the Professor, versus Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale hits the Babe with the power and gets the 1-2-3 pin win on Serena Deeb. But wow, this was a good match. As far as matches go, I thought that it was a great. I thought they had a great beginning series. I gotta give a shout out to Serena Deeb. She worked really well with Willow, and they looked really good doing it. And yeah, awesome back and forth. I enjoyed this match. Go ahead, Mikey.
Okay, so I need to preface by saying this. I love me Willow Nightingale. I will defend her forever and a day. Anybody who hates Willow Nightingale needs to fork off because there is not a single thing that anybody can really say bad about Willow, at least that I can find. However, now if this was just a one-off thing, I wouldn't have too much of an issue. But because you have 4 other companies who are determining which woman is going to represent that company at Wrestle Dynasty in the 4-way to become the inaugural International Women's Cup winner. Again, when we talked about this, I'm not going to rehash it for too long. Willow absolutely should be in here, but I feel we could have swapped out for other women who, if you're going to say, are the pillars of AEW. And when I think AEW, I still think it's Willow, Thunder, Britt, and Tony. Obviously, Tony's not here, but you could have put somebody else in here. I just want Serena Deeb to finally get some, praise and flowers and actually gets the chance to do something in AEW because she's always a reliable hand, but that's all AEW uses it for. And this was just a way to get Willow into the finals. And we know that Julia is somehow going to cost Jamie the match against Willow. So it's a foregone conclusion. I love that Willow's going to represent AEW, but the other companies have kind of kicked it up a notch by the women they're asking to participate, and the women they pick make sense of who are your pillars of the company. I mean, on ROH, we talked about this. It's going to be this Thursday in this Fatal 4-Way. It's Athena versus Billy Starks versus Red Velvet versus legit Layla Hirsch. To me, those are your 4 pillars of ROH. No contest. That makes sense. Last week, the CMLL crew talked about the 4 women representing in that match, which is happening this Friday, which is Sanelli, Zeuxis, Persephone, and Reina Isis. All this year had amazing things and accomplished so much. Those 4 make sense to me. Stardom has yet to have their women participate, but I know that whoever they pick is going to be amazing because all the girls in New Japan Stardom are amazing. AEW is, funnily enough, the weakest when it comes to how they are presenting and how they are selecting their participant. All to say this, I love that Willow is going to win this thing, but I feel that this was an afterthought of how we built it because we are so stuck in the middle of the Continental Classic. The women got shafted yet again. And this was a last minute thought. Be like, oh yeah, we need to pick a representative to represent the women's wrestling of AEW against the other, companies from around the world. Tony, you should be ashamed of yourself because CMLL, ROH is your like umbrella company, and they did a better job at picking their women for the Fatal 4-Way. Anyways, I digress. I would have picked different women. I want to see Serena do amazing things. Love Willow down. She's going to be amazing at Wrestle Dynasty. But this whole thing for AEW has been an afterthought, like most of its women's division that they handle. So The match itself, I really enjoyed. But again, Tony Khan does not give a flip about these women. Therefore, he makes me not care about these women.
Yeah, I was disappointed at these selections also. It feels like they were like, oh my goodness, these women haven't been on TV in a minute. Like, quick. Put them together. It didn't feel like it was an actual representation of AEW's women's pillars, right? Like, I was thinking Chris Statlander when you were thinking about the 4 pillars.
Yes, Chris would have been great.
Right, Chris would have been great. These 4 people feel really random. I love Willow Nightingale. Serena Deeb is growing on me. This match was good, and helped in that, right? Because there was a lot of back and forth that I thought was really good and helped develop Serena for me personally. But yeah, I'm not really excited.
No, and like I said, I feel like this was an afterthought. And honestly, like if AEW made me want to care instead of it just having 4 women, again, and I don't like comparing other companies, but have 2 sides of the bracket instead of 4, have 8 women. We talked about this earlier.
Yep.
Have 8 women. That way more women get time.
Yeah.
And then you get more matches. Like if you're only going to give us 1 women's match a week for Dynamite and Collision, 8 matches, which means you at least get 2 or 3 women's matches a week and all that. And I can't believe I have to say that. Like, that is a shame that I have to beg for more women on my screen. It's crazy.
So moving on, we get a backstage segment with Renee and Thunder Rosa.
That's also true too. AEW, this is your idea. Why have you not promoted the damn thing?
Yeah.
New Japan's doing all the work, man. That's crazy.
And
the other companies are doing more work for it.
Yeah.
You suck, AEW. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. So we go to this backstage spot with Renee and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa,
her makeup was sick in this promo.
It was
so good.
It was. However, she's calling out Mariah and Mina. So I'm kind of confused as to why we're thrusting Thunder Rosa in between Mariah and Mina, but whatever.
It's not whatever, because this again brings up the issue which means to tell me they're not going to run this back between Mina and Mariah at World's End now, which makes me mad.
So we'll see what ends up happening with Thunder Rosa and this whole Mina and Mariah thing. She was, we'll get to that. So anyway, then we have a look back at Dynamite and the chaos that ensued with Wheeler and Hangers and Mox and Death Rider, blah, blah, blah. Which leads us to a spot where the Death Riders do come out. Moxley starts barking as he barks. Orange Cassidy shows up, defiantly stands in the middle of the ring just to get lumped up by the Death Riders and taken backstage.
What was the point of this?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The point of it was
no sense.
The point of it was the next spot, which FTR is sitting there with Renee, and they this was weird. So they're talking about
all of AEW this week.
So FTR, who is from North Carolina, and they were talking about how they're doing things, they're like having a match or something like that to help the people that were affected by the hurricane, that are still being affected, this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden you hear this crash and the camera pans over, and like literally on the other side of the room is the Death Riders about to make Orange Cassidy chug bleach or whatever it is.
You couldn't have at least did around the corner, like,
right? And it takes.
I'm not a theater person, but like set the scene from scene to scene. What?
Right. And it takes FTR a good like 5 minutes, 6 minutes to like actually react. They were literally like like this, you know. But FTR intervenes, knocking the bleach out, and the Death Riders back off because FTR is scary.
They had the
and
night
now
though.
finally FTR is involved with this whole Death Riders thing. So.
Okay, so y'all aren't going to get mad at me for saying this. I love FTR. I really do. Why were they not involved in the first place? Like, you want to talk about the pillars of AEW going after the Death Riders? Why did it take a whole pay-per-view cycle to get them involved? Like, what?
No idea.
And why didn't they immediately run? Like, why did they go so lackadaisically?
Yup. Literally. So anyway, this brings us to our next Continental Classic Blue League match: Kyle Fletcher versus Kazuchika Okada. Kyle Fletcher ends up with the win.
Boo.
I say yay.
That's fine.
But we'll talk about that later. Oh, nope. Yeah, well, that's fine. Then we get All In Texas spot. I guess the tickets for All In went on sale today, and they had a thing. So
they're really pushing that.
Yes, they are. But then we had the Beast Mortos, which, have you been slammed on the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring? Have you been brainbusted on the top turnbuckle? Do you want recompensation? Then please contact Frank Mortos, attorney at law. He will get what you are entitled to. Frank Mortos, attorney at law. Rawr, grumble, roar. So Beast Mortos, he squashes Eric Solo. Boom.
Best match.
But before that, we get this.
Right? Okay. But we're not going to do it in here.
Well, it sounds like to me, we need to settle this in the ring.
Yes. The split has now officially happened between Top Flight and Action Andretti and Leo Rush. As of yet, I haven't seen a match announced.
No, but those jackets are so cool.
Right?
Also, shout out to Layla Gray, the hair girl. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Why is the story more interesting than Death Riders right now? Like,
just saying.
This is just a mid-card feud, no title, no nothing. Why is this more compelling?
Yep.
So then this leads us to our next women's match of the night: Mina Shirakawa versus Emi Sakura.
Yes.
Both their ring gears were so good. And I would like to petition the Grand Council of the Biconics to let me in 2025 move from AEW and cover Stardom, because oh my God, if this is the type of wrestling that we see, the Joshi style that we see in Stardom, I want more of it. It was so good. Both Mina and Emi worked the crowd so well. Savage hits between them. Oh man, especially, Emi's a powerful woman, and she just tossing Mina Shirakawa around like it was nobody's business. But then Mina just like getting up and chop. Ooh, man. They used a referee. Mina Shirakawa used a referee as a freaking pommel horse and vaulted over him to get to Emi Sakura. It was good. It was a good match. Match.
As the head of the Council of BC WrestlePod, I have reached a final decision about your request, and your request is approved, pending a full-length conversation, because Stardom doesn't have weekly shows, but we'll talk afterwards.
Right. But yeah, this was a great match. Yeah. You got anything to add?
No, I liked them a lot.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
And I mean, this is like a throwback, but Emi really should have won that belt back from Mercedes Money. I'm still mad.
Right?
Right.
So mad. And
So,
via the promo she cut on social media afterwards too made me root for her even more because she was so devastated.
yep.
Yeah,
Justice
but
for Emmy.
and it would like we saw more of that from her. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like in this match,
Yeah.
right? Like like incredible.
Yep.
Benny or
Yep.
Beanie, however we want, Benny the Bear. Like we 100% agree with you.
100%. And every time that Emi Sakura shows up on AEW television, she kills it.
Every time.
Oh, good.
And but this leads us into a very well put together Mariah Mina
I
recap.
agree.
Their chemistry was undeniable and ultimately combustible. Mariah hit America first, making new friends of her own.
I'm a huge fan.
But Mina soon followed, creating a tumultuous triangle that narrowly averted disaster.
They just love breaking glass on each other.
Right.
So good.
Right? Yes. But yeah, no, that it was a very good recap for their storyline, and I do hope that they play it again at Winter is Coming before their match, so that everyone understands the full gravitas. So after that, we got a World's End spot. And then moving on, we have Renee backstage with Mark Briscoe and Danny Garcia. They're talking about their main event match, Continental Classic match, and they, gentlemanly agree that they're going to go after each other, which brings us to our main event: Daniel Garcia versus Mark Briscoe.
Why is this main event though?
Mark Briscoe comes out with the win. When I said I wanted Mark to win, not this way. When I asked him to win matches, this is not what I had in mind. We'll talk about this too, because with the added changes to the rule that is happening for this year's Continental Classic, I feel that things are getting a little wonky, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Well, let me tag you back in, Mikey, and let's get to the Continental Classics portion.
Cool. Alrighty. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So bam. We'd love to see it. Whew. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So now this is the most updated card. We're going to start with the Gold League and then go into the Blue League. So just as a reminder, if anybody is new to the Continental Classic in AEW, second year that we are doing this, the way that it normally works is whoever holds the Continental Championship gets entered into the tournament automatically. And then it's a round robin tournament to where wins give you 3 points, ties give time limit draws give you 1, and if you lose, you get no points. So they changed the rules this year because what happened last year is you had to win the block, and then the winner of Gold League block would take on winner of Blue League block, and then that was for to crown whoever was going to be the inaugural champion. The finals of it was Eddie Kingston, who won the blue block last year, taking on Jon Moxley, winner of the gold. And Eddie Kingston, the king of the bums himself, became our inaugural Continental Champion. They changed the rules this year where now, technically, you are going to be fighting to be the winner of the block, or you are to be fighting to get second place, because the way it's going to work at World's End is that there's going to be 3 Continental matches that are happening. The winner of the Gold League will be taking on the runner-up of Blue League, and then winner of Blue will be taking up runner on Gold, and whoever wins those matches will move on to the finals to face each other. So technically this year you are shooting to either become in first or second, because you are guaranteed a semifinal match at World's End at least, and at most if you win that semifinal and you move on to the finals.
And at current, Kazuchika Okada is
our champion.
Is the defending champion.
Okay, so let's talk about Gold League, because Gold League has only had 3 matches so far. So everybody still has 3 matches left. So currently, Gold League is a lot closer. So Gold League, right now, Claudio Castagnoli is sitting at the top of the leaderboard with 6 points. He has won his 2 matches so far, picking up wins, here and there. So let's just spell it out here. Commander only has 2 matches left because as a replacement for Juice Robinson as first alternate, he has to also carry Juice's first loss, which sucks because I don't think that's fair, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Commander, it's poor Commander, which means to tell me Juice was not gonna win this thing either, or even get relatively close. So Juice / Commander is out of the running. Again, I feel like gold is more interesting because everybody is a lot closer. So Claudio is sitting at 6 points. Everybody else is at 3. Commander is at 0. So Darby, Will, Ricochet, and Brody all have 3 points. Surprisingly, Will is the only person who has only had 1 match. And so it's still anybody's game. I honestly think Claudio's probably at this point. I think Claudio's going to get first, but I would not be surprised. My money is either on Will or Darby to come in second. So those are my 3 choices: is Will, Darby, and Claudio.
Yeah, I'm feeling that it's going to end up being Claudio v Darby for the Gold League.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do I want that? No, but I think that's the trajectory, because Darby's match against Commander, number one, and the match in Collision was a fantastic match. It was a fantastic starter. Should have been main event. Darby, one of the things I enjoyed about the match is that Darby showed a different style of wrestling than I'm used to seeing Darby do. I'm used to seeing Darby like get kicked around and then start fighting back. But Darby was actually on the offensive. Darby did, some Matt Tactician stuff. He grounded Commander's aerial assault. So he looked really good. He looked really strong. So that's why I think right now that it's going to be Darby v Claudio at the end of this for the Gold League.
Again, which is weird because now with the change of the rules this year, you're riding for first or second. So,
right.
What I'm really interested though is to see if now let's play devil's advocate. If it ends up being Darby and Claudio as the realistic to see who gets first and second, that means that Will has to come very close but gets screwed because it's really weird to have Ospreay in here and for him not to go super far. And again, he has 4 matches left. So, which is interesting because he has yet to have his 4 other matches, which is weird because he's the only one that has only had 1 match. Everybody else has had 2. And then of course, Commander has had 2, but he took Juice's spot. So he took Juice's first loss.
Right.
So not this week, but in 2 weeks, my most anticipated at the holiday show is Will versus Darby. That one I think is going to make or break who's going to lead. Wouldn't it be crazy if Darby pulls out a win against Ospreay?
And again, especially after Darby showing with Commander, I'm interested. I'm interested. I think that Darby will be able to shut down Will.
I would love to see that. Again, Gold to me is the closest, and I am enjoying Gold League more because everybody has a fair shake.
Yeah. What's coming up tomorrow? Is Brody Ricochet coming up tomorrow night?
I can tell you everything because your man's got the scoop. So for tomorrow, this is going to be fun. So here's what Winter is Coming Dynamite looks like tomorrow. So as it relates to Continental Classic, we have 2 matches. We have a Gold League match. Well, actually, they're both Gold League, so it's Gold League on Dynamite tomorrow. And it is Brody King versus Ricochet and Claudio Castagnoli versus Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. I think Brody Ricochet is going to go time limit, and they're each going to get 1 point.
God, I would hope so.
And I think Claudio, I hope not, because and I want to talk about this more in Blue League, but I feel that Claudio will end up winning over Will due to shenanigans.
That could be a thing.
Because there were shenanigans in his last match.
Yeah, Claudio won over Brody King due to shenanigans.
So that would make a lot of sense, but I would love for Will to beat Claudio because then they're both tied at 6.
That would be cool.
And then Darby comes from behind. Anyways, again, I think Gold League is the closest, and in a funny way, the fairest because anybody has a chance at this point. The same can't be said for Blue League.
This was a busy bracket this past week.
Holy crap. Look at this bracket, you guys. So to remind the folks, Blue League has the participants of our current Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, the TNT Champion, Daniel Garcia, Mark Briscoe, Shelton Benjamin, Beast Mortos. Kyle has 2 matches left. He has won every single one, and he is at the way top of this block with 9 points.
But he's won with shenanigans, and I'm not happy about that. I'm probably alone on my island, and I will be alone on my island. I will stand for Kyle Fletcher, and I am happy that he gets the win. However, to me, there's a question mark on his wins because he has cheated with each win.
That is very true. However, he technically is still following the rules because nobody's allowed at ringside, so nobody is, doing all the things and whatnot. But still, I agree with you. Kyle Fletcher has an asterisk of his wins, which I guess makes sense for the heel character. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. The way that Blue League has gone so far I have not been impressed. Again, I like that Kyle's at the top of the leaderboard? Hell yeah. But I want him to win just by being ruthless, not be a cheaty little asshole.
Yep.
And when I said I wanted Mark Briscoe to win some matches, I did not mean at the expense of Daniel Garcia. Like, that is so weird to me. I
didn't think that Garcia Briscoe was main event worthy on Collision.
No.
I would have switched Darby Commander with
Darby Commander would have been a great main event. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, because I mean, like, wrestling wise, it was okay, but there was I felt like there was no intensity for their match. Also, the matches on Friday Night Rampage, other than Ricochet Commander, which I felt blew the roof off the house, they were good, and then the endings were very lackluster.
Yeah, it's really weird. So Dynamite has those 2 matches, and then as of right now, for Collision, we have Mortos versus Okada in a Blue League match. And then let me see if I can find anything else. But yeah, this is getting weird. Anyways. Yep. But again, Blue League has been I'm unimpressed with Blue League this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Though I will say though that the Kyle Fletcher matches have been exciting matches. Like Kyle Fletcher, Kazuchika Okada was really good. I feel at the end it's going to be Fletcher versus Shelton Benjamin. I think Shelton Benjamin is going to make
I would love that.
Yeah, he's going to make a storm from the back.
He's going to have a come from behind. So Benny the Bear, to be honest, Kyle beat a cheater. It's good heat. Just saying, they're still building him, so he needs as much heat as possible. And I agree with that.
I agree. Yeah. I think he's going to continue to cheat, and I think he's going to come away with 15 points.
He's going to clean the block. Would be amazing.
He's going to clean the block, and he is going to win every single match. I think they're really trying to push him. I think we're really trying to build him up. I would see that happening here.
So, okay.
Who does he have left? Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe? Come on.
Yeah, that's true, because those are the 2 that are left. I'm gonna be honest. The only match I've really enjoyed so far in Blue League so far is Okada versus Daniel Garcia, because I was not expecting them to throw out the first time limit draw so early, and I loved it though, because Daniel almost had Okada, but just missed Okada tapping out like 2 seconds too late after the bell rang.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
That was great. But again, I've been uninspired by Blue League because Kyle is so top of the board. I agree with Alice. I would not be surprised if he has a clean sweep and ends up being the winner of Blue Block. But then when we look at everything else, as of right now, it's either Danny or Okada to get that second place. Because again, now we're fighting for first and second, because whoever becomes second in Blue League will face the winner of the Gold League at World's End, or at least the week of leading into the go home shows. I'm so mad that Mortos is not going to get anything in here. That's like, why are you going to have him in here? You're giving him the Jay Lethal Daniel Garcia of last year's tournament run, where he's probably not going to win anything, but he's going to spoil someone's fun. I was like, you could have at least given him a Roosh run where he decimates, and then last match he fails to win it or ties it. Like, it's so frustrating. I
see Beast coming out with 1 point.
So he's going to tie with somebody. So who's he going to tie with then?
Mark Briscoe.
Fine. Now that match though might actually slap. That match on paper
without a doubt.
Be great.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Again, the problem I have with this Blue League is that because Kyle's been so dominant, really, it's more so who is running for second place at this point. It's not even close. Gold League right now is close, and there's so many possibilities I can go with. Blue League is just being so dominant by Kyle, and everybody else is just playing catch up. Like, Blue League has been weirdly booked, and I'm not gonna lie.
I dare AEW to make us look the fool and have Kyle Fletcher drop the next 2 matches and have Shelton Benjamin and Beast Mortos get some wins, and like, so next week when we look at the card, it's like, everyone is like neck and neck.
They're a scary dare. That's a scary dare.
I dare you, AEW.
That is a very scary dare. Like I said, I think this week's Continental Classic matches, I think are going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to Ospreay and Claudio. I think that match is probably my most anticipated tomorrow night for Dynamite. But then, like I said before, the match that I am waiting to see, because I'm very surprised these two have yet to cross paths since they came into the company, but I'm really excited for the December 18th. Oh, yes. Toru Yano would be amazing. Seeing Beast being Toru Yano would be great. But the match I'm most anticipated is happening at Holiday Bash on December 18th, and that is Gold League Will versus Darby. That is the match of Gold League that I'm waiting to see, because I'm weird like that. Right. But that brings us to the end of AEW. Overall, some highs, lots of lows. Very weird uninspired this week. Weird week.
Yeah. Weird week.
Yeah.
Weird week.
It has been a weird week as well. Yep. But shout out to the Halfling Wizard Will for winning the drawing, just to reiterate. So I will get in contact with you to get all that information going on. And that does bring us to the end of this week's All Elite Ensemble review. Tomorrow is Winter is Coming, where next week, well, technically not really. So we're not going to have a regular AEW next week. We could touch upon some of the stuff that happened, but we are going to have a special AEW show next Tuesday, where we are going to talk about all of the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of AEW in 2024. Talk about everything, some of our favorite moments, some of our least favorite moments, and just talk about our hopes and dreams for the future of AEW. Stay tuned for those forums to come later tomorrow. So I'm super excited. So all next week are the special review shows, and we all kick it off this Sunday with the mega end of 2024 podcast, where each of the hosts that are joining us or are writing in their stuff we are going to go through everything from best matches, worst matches, favorite wrestlers, least favorite wrestlers, best. We have it all. It's going to be so fantastic, and it is a fun way to kick everything off. But for the remainder of the week, you get NXT and CMLL tomorrow evening. And then on Saturday is a live watch along for WWE Saturday night's main event, which then leads into our grand kickoff of the end of 2024 stuff with our podcast this Sunday. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a fun one. I cannot wait. But that is going to be it for all of us here at All Elite Ensemble. From myself and Adolfo and Alice, as well as the rest of the BC WrestlePod family. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you for double dose of reviews tomorrow.
Hey,
but
Mikey?
Yes.
Is it time to get out of here?
Yes, it's time to get out of here.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. Johnny TV style.
Sebastian!
You're in the shot, you bald idiot!
You fool!
The other way! Go!